I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Culpy and Chip. And
the big homie Jim Root. Shout out to the big homie.
Shout
See
out
you
to
soon,
Leah.
inshallah. Huh?
Shout out to Leah.
Why are we shouting her out? Oh. Yeah, what's good, Leah? What's up, girl? She never talks to me anymore.
Oh, really?
Well, it's just we haven't done firesides in a while because we're doing this freaking marathon. But
Yeah, I know.
So.
She's getting one of those Sori secret tank tops. So I'm like, you gotta let me know how that is. Like, is the quality good? I want to know all that
we should
stuff.
probably rock one of those because August is going to be pretty hot, right?
I said that, but you said that we're gonna go with band tank tops.
Oh.
Which I don't know. I kind of want to do our stuff. I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. I'm very excited about this review because it's a type O negative review. And
You're a big fan of type O.
I am a big fan. There was that one song that I was like, no.
What, the Jackhammer one?
Yeah.
That was a pretty terrible song.
No. So
Terrible song.
I need to hear more of these so that way I can listen to all of my CDs.
Shout out to the big homie Jay.
Yeah.
JD, what's good, big homie?
Oh my word, Jay. That hard drive thing that you sent us was exactly perfect. I figured out how to use it. Like
You figured out? You figured out how to use it?
You figured out how to use it, and but I got the information from the Apple guy of how to like transfer it over, and Vin like got the thing all opened up and figured out with the computer, and it's like working like a dream. It used to take us 6 hours to move this stuff over because it was literally moving the whole computer.
Yeah.
But now we're just moving iMovie over, and so like 30 minutes we're good. We're good to go. So
yeah, this would have
so
hamstrung us because we're trying to get 80 videos done in stock.
Right. So then you guys won't even.
You won't feel our leave of absence.
You won't miss us.
So, yeah.
All right. So anyway, this is Type O, and it's World Coming Down. If you want to check out behind the scenes what's going on, Dorian made he did a little. I don't know.
Really?
It's so old fashioned. I call it PowerPoint.
Let's call it PowerPoint. It's
Some PowerPoint thing on wrong ones.
What's the difference?
Because these are big and I don't like big ones. In headphones.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah. So he did that. So that's up there, and also Sayla getting her hepatitis A shot is there. So you can see how she handles that.
Thug life! Thug life!
Okay.
31! That's for Jay. Jay knows.
Okay.
Jay knows. Roll dirty, son. People squeezing triggers, screaming out, 31. Anyway, World Coming Down, Type O negative.
Hey, Firesides are on his channel if you're wondering, which is Middle America.
I don't even know why you're telling people that. We haven't done that in quite some time.
There are still Firesides there.
Let's go.
Go.
World Coming Down. world is coming down.
What'd you think?
Singing always makes me want to kiss you a lot. What?
What did you think of the song?
Oh, you mean the song? You mean not how I felt about the song? What do I think it's about? Honestly, I don't even know what it's about. The beginning made sense to me. I thought of you. That's happened to you multiple times in your life. She thinks I'm Iron Man, that I don't feel any pain. What? Why are you just sitting there?
No, I'm listening to you.
But then after that, I was confused because he's like, I don't understand why joy must be feigned. I'm so fortunate yet filled with self-hate that the mirror shows me an ingrate. I don't understand that.
Well, to feign something means to pretend or to act.
Okay.
So I don't understand why joy must be acted.
Oh.
Because he's not really happy. So this girl thinks that he's Iron Man, he doesn't feel any pain. And one of the reasons is because he acts as if he's happy. See what I'm saying? So how is she supposed to know?
Right.
I'm so fortunate, yet filled with self-hate. Mm-hmm. That fortunate could be fortunate to have her or fortunate to be a rock star. Mm-hmm. Or both. That the mirror shows me an ingrate, meaning an ingrate is somebody who's just a terrible person, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's saying, she thinks I'm Iron Man. I act like I'm happy all the time. I know that I'm a lucky guy, but I still hate myself and I can't stand what I see in the mirror. That's verse 1.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay.
So that's what he's saying in verse 1. I think he the few songs that have been selected seems to be talking about how difficult it is to be a guy in a relationship. You know, so like the last couple songs, I mean, the Jackhammer one was too much. I mean,
right.
She cheated on him, whatever.
Yeah.
But it seemed that he struggled a lot with the kind of push-pull of what he's supposed to be in the relationship as far as the role as a man. You're supposed to be kind of like the Rock or whatever, and you're not supposed to have negative feelings, and you're supposed to be there for her type of thing. But he hasn't been able to sustain it in the relationship, and so he's expressing why it's difficult, I think, to be a man in a relationship sometimes.
Okay.
Because a lot of relationships, you know, if you fall into traditional gender roles, a lot of relationships function that way, where the guy has to kind of be, you know, Iron Man, superhuman, be impervious to issues, and kind of be the Rock for his lady and all the rest of it. And so this is one of the reasons why there is such a movement to say, hey, wait a second, we need to really look at what it means to be a man, and how we're supposed to function in the world, and how we're supposed to function at work, and how we're supposed to function with each other, because this is not healthy.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not healthy. This version of what it means to be a man is not healthy for this guy or the relationship, I could assume.
Yeah.
I can easily start pointing fingers, since the blame is mine, it always lingers. That the truth, it lies in my reflection. No, this can't go on, there's no question. So he's not able to maintain.
So he's not going to point the finger at anyone else because he thinks he's to blame for what's going on? Because he's not able to maintain that?
Yeah, he can't maintain that facade. I mean, he's a human being.
Yeah.
And so he's gonna do something to wreck this relationship, I think, is the point. Because I know the world is coming down, and I know I'm the one who brought it down.
Oh, right? Yeah. Wow.
So he's gonna do something to mess stuff up, but then it's like, well, what else could the man have done? Like, what else can you do if you're walking around like Iron Man? And, and whatever.
Yeah.
And and you're still a human being. You know, Iron Man is a comic book character. He's not a real person. And the crazy thing is, even Iron Man has his own weaknesses. He struggled with alcoholism, etc., right? So it's a really good, raw, honest. This is actually my favorite typo song. It's a really good, honest look as to what it means to be a man in certain types. Because I obviously, in my previous relationship, but I eventually got to the point where I was like, I'm not going to do anything to wreck this relationship, so I'm going to start being honest. So I told the person, like, you're killing me. Like, you're killing me, and I'm not going to be able to maintain this all the time. And she literally said, then you're a Superman. She said that literally.
Right.
I mean, you know that. They don't know that, but she literally shrugged it off and said, yeah, you're Superman, it's all good. So it's kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And what can you do in that situation?
Yeah.
I
mean, you do put off that energy. Like, that you can just...
I think... Well, there's a lot of things that affect people that don't affect me. But that doesn't mean nothing affects me.
Oh, I know that stuff affects you.
Yeah, so you know the things that affect me, but there's a lot of... I think a lot of it is like people have, categories for what affects normal people. And if you run into a person who doesn't happen to be affected by those things, it's like, whoa, this guy's a really strong person. I've had people tell me I'm a really strong person. Like, I don't really necessarily think so. I just think that there are a couple things that... There are things that affect most people that don't affect me.
Yes, but there are things that affect you that don't affect most people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So, exactly. So, if I hear about the plane crash...
Right, that's exactly
whatever,
what I was thinking of.
Can't sleep that night. Right? Like, so... That was what was going on last night. Okay. So, I get deeply, deeply, deeply affected for days over things that don't affect other people. And then there are other things that I laugh at genuinely are funny to me that other people would be offended or upset or angry or whatever.
Yeah.
So I get it. Like it makes people think, oh, this dude is, wow, this doesn't affect him. This doesn't affect him. Oh, he's superhuman. I've never claimed to be superhuman. It's just there's things that, you know.
I thought it was the song that we did.
What do you
affected you.
No, it wasn't the song.
Huh. Yeah.
I mean, I was pretty much done with the song after we were done with the song. But it was, you know.
Is that one that's not getting released till?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not getting released till May something. But, you know, all those people, you know, at the airport expecting their family members to show up and then, you know, we just had a trip and we're away from the kids and, you know,
that would have been awful.
Telling them we're coming back and that whole, you know, that was it. Yeah. It's obvious. I mean, it's still messy. And I can't comprehend how we all can hear all these terrible tragedies and people go, and then they go on. Mm-hmm. And it's not a criticism. I don't know how people do that.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I'm going to struggle with that for probably a week, literally, but I'm not going to talk about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
I'm surprised you even said it now.
Yeah. Well, that's for the purposes of the thingamajig, but, you know.
God for the channel.
But again, it's not something I can feel like I can talk about because I feel like I'm like singular in that situation, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't affect me like it affects you.
Yeah.
Like when I'm watching, I'm like, oh my gosh, and I like feel for the people and think for the people. But then something takes my attention and then I'm off with the...
Right, and then it's vice versa. Like somebody will say something crazy on the channel about you and it'll bug you or whatever, you know? Mm-hmm. Whereas to me, it's like...
Yeah.
It's hilarious to me. Like, it's funny to me.
Uh-huh.
Like, you know, and that really pisses people off, but I mean, I can't help. That's who I am.
Right.
You know? The airplane stuff will wreck me for a week. The comments on Facebook stuff is you know, I kind of, it's like a guilty pleasure. Like, oh, this guy is really pissed at me. Like, remember Lilo? Shout out to the big homie Lilo. She used to say all types of crazy stuff to me. I loved her.
Yeah. She actually made it into my dreams one time. Got to meet her.
Yeah, her and Ben. Ben.
Right. No, it was actually her and Becky.
One of the things I wanted to see was, because this guy can actually sing.
I know. He sings really good.
He's got a very distinct voice, and like there are a lot of songs where he doesn't really take himself that seriously, but he can actually sing, this guy.
Oh, yeah.
And they actually put together a pretty good live show. You know, so...
I wish the audio would have been clearer, though.
Yeah.
I feel like we lost stuff in that. But I'm like, his voice still comes through so beautifully, even in the audio being kind of meh.
Well, this was the title track of the entire album, was World Coming Down.
Yeah.
So...
It's funny because if I just listen to the audio of his music, I'm good. When I see the video, like, I can't stop thinking, oh my gosh, he's dead, oh my gosh, he's dead.
Yeah.
And I hate that. Like,
but he made his peace with the Ain't So before he died, though.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to hear.
I would have liked to have seen him live. But yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that's why we got to take advantage of the bands that we can see live, you know?
I know, that's why I was letting you tack 2 in the same month. I'm like, oh, yes.
August is going to be a big month for us, for sure.
Oh.
How quickly pass the days long as the night, lying in bed, bathed in starlight. Ooh, good line, good line. Better to live as king of beasts than as a lamb scared and weak.
Yeah.
You know, there's that conflict of like, if I keep going like this, it's going to bring my entire world down. But what's the alternative? To be a vulnerable little lamb? Scared and weak? I'm going to go ahead and be a king of the beasts. Mm-hmm. And I remember saying to myself, I remember having that conversation with myself. Well, it was one of those situations years ago. I drove off and at 3 o'clock in the morning was walking around the base track.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to go out there and be vulnerable. So I went home the next day and I said, hey, I got to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is killing me. I'm not going to survive it, yada, yada, yada. And that's when I got the Superman line. So I was like, it didn't work out the way I thought it would. Because it was like one of those never before seen conversations, you know?
Yeah.
then I was like, well, maybe if, but I think some of it is like your own fault. Like if you project that to a person for a decade, because it was like a decade, literally, it's like, how fair is it to really expect them to pivot and go, oh, he's a human being. So I feel like some of it, like if I would have done that at the beginning of a relationship, maybe things would have been different, But I think it's just very, very hard to make that type of pivot.
Yeah, but if somebody never tells you, hey, like this is like really affecting me, and then all of a sudden they do, like you'd think that would make you more be like, whoa, this is serious. He's literally never said anything like this.
Yeah. I think the nature of the relationship was that, I'm never gonna, but
yeah.
She was doing things that were so crazy, and I was just so like stoic and that it's like, and she did and said so many crazy things that it's like I think it was just hard for her to believe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not making excuses for her per se. I'm just saying I could see why it would be very difficult for her to be like, whoa, this is really serious. I need to, you know what I mean?
I guess. I just, it's so foreign to me, and I've never met anyone like that before. So, like, it's hard for me to process it, honey. It's hard for me to understand saying that after somebody like gets vulnerable and never was. Like it just,
yeah.
I mean, you might be right. It might be one of those things where you've conditioned somebody to, to think that you're,
But you're like that though with other people. Other people in your circle or whatever was like that with you. Like nobody ever considered your feelings. It's like, oh, it's Sori. She's
that's true.
Big, powerful, beautiful Sori.
That's true, and I would say like this is
right.
No,
and people
true.
didn't.
So maybe it's more normal than it seems.
They're just
I can't process doing that.
People have certain types of personalities to where,
Yeah. Wow. So then, in the end, he brings it down.
This line was crazy. I will deny my role as a human, holding myself hostage with no demands. It's better to burn quickly and bright than slowly and dull without a fight. So, that line, holding myself hostage with no demands, that's crazy. Well, if you held somebody hostage and you had demands, then there is a possibility you could get free. Now it's up to the other person to pay the ransom or not. None. So if you're being held hostage with no demands, and there's no way for you to get out.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that you can do to liberate yourself from that situation.
Yeah.
So he's kind of stuck in this loop.
Oh my gosh.
He's stuck in this loop of, self-criticism or whatever it is, but there are no terms of release. He can't find a way out of it, and I thought that was a crazy line.
Yeah.
So for me, that whole situation, like me, that type of honesty was like my way out of it.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem to really didn't work. 5 years later, that was the end of that. She left. So, and shout out to her. No disrespect to her, but just one of those things. But so I don't know. I don't know what the whole point of the whole thing was. Because our relationship isn't like that. You're more, what's bugging you, why aren't you talking to me type of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm having a hard time pivoting and being like, yo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I loved
because I don't understand. You must have been like the way that you are now. You must have been like that before. Like you go through phases where you can tell stuff's obviously bothering you. Like I obviously knew something was up last night, but I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe it was a song or but there's certain things that you do when you're bothered by something, and all the signs were there.
Yeah.
So I mean, you must have been doing those things.
I bounce back all the time, so I mean that's just how it was. I mean, some of it is like being in the Bronx, though, because if you're depressed in that environment, like it doesn't really matter.
Oh.
And it's not because people are mean. It's just so many things are going on that nobody's gonna, pay attention to you being depressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
It's not something where where in the suburbs everything's slow. People kind of look at each other.
Yep.
Especially in this environment where people are indoors 9 months out of 12.
Oh my gosh, why do we live here?
It's a good question. especially out to California. Coming, we're coming. But I love I think it was right here, right when he was doing the Gregorian chanting. You know, they did a couple like weird transitions that weren't there and didn't really have a lot of blending, but I loved it. I love the Gregorian stuff. I love Gregorian chanting. I love it. Antiqua is about to release a record. And Antiqua is a project with Lindsay from Cradle, Zen from Now the Mascaris, and they've got, Lindsay was saying that
that's right.
They've got the Gregorian chanting and all that jazz, so I cannot wait to hear that. Lindsay, get me an early copy. You know I'm good to keep it secret. So yeah, I love that stuff. I love what they did with the song, and obviously, I relate very well to it.
Yeah. No wonder I didn't know what it was about.
Well, yeah, but it's part of growing. I think that it is something that's very strange to me that I'll say things to the camera. Because I remember you texted me yesterday. I just started working. I was like, I'm gonna find an excuse to work. It was like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or whatever. And I was just and you were like, did the video. Because we shot a video, it was a pretty tough video, and I just looked. I don't even think I was just like, that wasn't the issue. So yeah, it's very, very curious. It's hard for me to pivot out of that. And the other thing is, our relationship isn't like that. You're not killing me. Like, there's nothing that you're doing that's like killing me. Like, you're not purposely trying to sabotage our relationship. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know if it's I don't want to burden you with the problem, or if it's, whatever, or, I don't know. But my point is, I don't feel like this in our relationship, but I do think there are probably vestiges of bad habits or whatever, or mindsets that are probably left over that I need to grow into, I think. But anyway, I really, really enjoyed this song. What do you give it?
No, I want to know what you give it first.
No, I'm not going to tell you. You say it.
No, babe,
2.
tell me. A
2.
2? You can't, so you're lying.
It's a 2.
You're not supposed to lie like that.
It's a 2. What are you giving it?
It was an 8.7 for me.
+8, it's a 10 for me. Hey, I give you the honest truth. 2 + 8 is 10. This is 10. This is my favorite typo song. I really enjoyed it. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I was sad.
A good one, Jay.
I was sad that it was over. Good job, Jay. And it was live too. Well, I've always, I felt like I wanted a live typo song, but then I was scared because some typo songs are kind of very, very slow and very like trudging through molasses. So I'm like, man, I don't want one of those things live. It's good, and then he's gonna suck vocally and all that, but it was the complete opposite. And the guitarist was like active and stuff, which is another thing I wasn't expecting. I just expected him to stand there like a ghoul, but the guy was active and interacting with the crowd, which I love. I didn't expect that. And then vocally, I mean, the guy is just born for this. Like, it's obvious that God said, all right, this guy, I'm gonna make him 6'6".
It comes out.
Yeah.
In the sound.
And just the way his voice is just crazy. I love it. And it fits. His vocal style fits perfectly with his lyrics. Like the character because every time you hear a song, you're imagining some character. There's some character, especially if you've been following a band. And like the character that I see when he sings matches perfectly with that voice, and that doesn't happen all the time. So anyway, good job, Jay. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.